elevated. Hey, look, Lord, huh? Hey, I'm tryna win. I'm tryna win in the 716 and I'm making it big. I wanna live. I think I'm ready to.
Yo, what's good, man? It's Easy Pinchar Podcast with your one and only host, Glory Boy, back here with another special guest. I mean, this special guest, you've seen him before, but come on, man. Come on, let's introduce him again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you for coming through once again. Last time it was amazing. We had a great talk. Like, we sat down and had a great conversation. A lot of people really enjoyed it. And you actually wanted to start it off this special, like in a special way you wanted your own introduction. That's so, right. We're going to go ahead and just give it to you, all right?
That's right.
Just give it 1 second. 1 second. Let's go. Yeah. We can only do 30 seconds actually because we don't want to get copyrighted. But yeah, so tell us how has everything been going for you so far?
Oh, I've been doing great. I'm just busy.
Right,
right now we're actually house hunting, which I got to tell you, when you go to a house and you're trying to buy a house, it changes your whole perspective on space. You really got a very small moment in time to figure out how you're going to live in this house and where you're going to sit. So when you're looking around, you're just like, yo, can I sit here? Where do I go? What's this? What's that? Let me pull this microphone. Hold on. Microphone a little closer. Hold on. How's that?
That's better.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, house hunting is just weird, man. You just literally got to, go in there and just immediately picture yourself here, there, and decide right away whether you like it or not. It's tough.
It's really tough, right?
It's
like where in Buffalo, you don't got to tell us the specific area. Are you trying to go out in the suburbs or?
Man, I'm trying to go everywhere. I'm looking at a house in Angola. That's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but you'd have to live in Angola. And for the same price of that ridiculous house, which is 2,500 square feet with this huge, pool and vaulted ceilings, everything you'd ever want in a house. Same price of that house, you come out here in Amherst, you get 2,000 square feet of just weird bedrooms and space with neighbors right next door. And then you go into Buffalo and you get a bigger house with square footage, but then you literally stick your head out your window and hit your neighbor's window. So it's I don't want to live in Buffalo. I want to go in the suburbs, and I want to go a little bit out in the country. And I just don't like neighbors.
Why is that? Just because of neighbors, or?
I don't like people. I don't like people around me when I'm living. I like my space. I don't like people right next to me. I want to be able to walk outside in my bathrobe and get my mail from the box.
I feel you.
And not have the neighbors be like, oh.
You gotta have your no trespassing sign. Nobody comes across or anything.
No, my ideal house is gonna eventually be 10 acres with a road down the middle with trees. You can't even see the house, and then you get to the house, and then that's going to be where I retire.
Hey, it's coming, step by step. But yeah, so, and also, I know you're house hunting, but has anything else been going through, in your life so far?
I mean, it's, I'm working on my book. It takes a long time. And I have to wait before I get it published, for parole to be over with. So, I think that stresses me out a little bit, man, because it's I want to finish it, and I know I can finish it, but I got more time, so I take more time on it. But I know I could finish it, and I know I could get somebody to help me brush things up. But because I got this time, but it's I got to wait for parole to be over with, because if I publish it before parole's over with, and they got a problem with it, and now I got problems.
So they could really just read so they have to read your book before you publish it if you're still in parole.
No, but what I don't want to do is I don't want them to read the book while I'm on parole when I'm telling them how fucking stupid they are. Like, you're fucking stupid. Like, this is how stupid you are. This is how stupid your system is. This is how stupid the laws are. And, you know, you people act like you're heroes, and you're not. You're just, you know, you're trash the way you do things. Right. And that includes talking about even like when I got arrested, you know, like when they're doing maneuvers trying to like, you know, well, you know, you don't take this deal, you know, your father, he might have had something. It's like, well, leave him alone. He ain't got nothing to do. You really going to go, what are you going to grab my grandma next? I mean, it's like, and these are the things you don't want to beat him over the head with and embarrass him with, you know, even if it's not a book that anybody reads, but if they read it. I don't want them to read that and then come show up at my house. Yeah, well, I think we're just going to do a walkthrough real cool. What's this? You know, I don't want no problems. So,
nah, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. So now let's just jump. So like last time when I had you here, I had my co-host Alexandra, and we had a conversation in regards to what you experienced in the past in terms of like, you know, just going through the phase of you getting caught. Selling drugs and so on, and then you went to jail for 10 years. You were supposed to be sentenced for 20, but you just kind of like knew how to, you know, fight for yourself, you know. Yeah,
there was, you know, the plea deal required assets and stuff like that, and I ended up with 15. And then out of the 15, while I was in, I fought the 15-year sentence and got a 2-point reduction down to 13. And out of 13, I did 10 years, 8 months. Wow. And 2 of those years I did in the shoe, which I really didn't realize how extraordinary 2 years in the shoe was until, you know, I get out and I start talking to more people that, you know, have done shoe time that like lost their shit in 2 weeks, you know, and I was able to keep my shit together except for that time with the chicken where I lost my mind. When they fucked up my chicken. When they fucked my chicken up, I was like pulling the water thing, and I like lost my shit though. Captain came down. He says, "Listen, man, what do we got to do to get you to stop pulling the sprinklers?
I need my chicken."
I was like, "I need my chicken." He's like, "This is about chicken." I'm like, "I need my chicken." He's like, "You got your chicken, man."
All right.
And then I was like, "Okay, cool." So there was like about 2 weeks where I was like just losing my shit, but you know, 2 years is a long time in the shoe, and afterwards, I'm realizing more and more after watching more and more movies with people, you know, going in the shoe and movies of prison and stuff like that, where that was an extraordinary feat to come out of that thing and be sane. You know,
man, what is it? What is it about jail? Because there's a lot of people that actually embraces jail life. You know, do you think there's anything special about it? Like,
well, as sick as this may sound, there's been a couple times since I've been out where I've like just said, damn, you know, when I was in jail, life was easier. When I was in jail, the only thing missing in my life was pussy. I mean, women. Can we bleep that? Anyways. Sorry about that.
No. Keep going.
But my point being is that, like, you know, prison is like you went camping with your boys and you got stuck at the prison camp because the weather's horrible.
Right.
And you forgot your wives, and the food just sucks every day, and you're just trying to find shit to do, and you can't leave.
Okay.
But, you know, you're not paying bills unless you're making them, and you find things to do unless, you know, you find bad things to do or you find positive things to do. Some people go to prison fine and get real fucked up because they can't find shit to do. They can't keep busy. And they don't understand that, like they didn't look at like, all right, so when I get in there, if I don't program and I don't find something to do that's constructive, I'm going to come out worse than when I went in. And because I did a prison sentence when I was in my early 20s, I already knew when I get in there, I got to find things to do that are going to, you know, help me thrive instead of just survive. And so I became very busy in, you know, doing legal work for people that can't read or just don't really understand the legal system. You know, I became a paralegal when I was in there, and
right, you told that.
I just did a lot of stuff that kept me. But for the most part, you know, the prison is gonna, you know, the prison lifestyle is something that I actually embraced while I was in it because I can't go nowhere, man. I'm gonna do this, you know. But when I came home, I was like, you know, I'm arguing with my old lady, looking around. I'm like, yeah, I think I'd rather be in prison right now.
Right.
Working my ass off, you know, not feeling the way I wanted to feel, and all of a sudden this light bulb went off. Like, damn, you know, when I was in prison, there was like every day, coffee with the guys. I go do this, I go do that. Man, what an easy lifestyle that was. Instead of grinding all the time and arguing and all this other shit, you know, just wake up and go do. So I can see where people can get attracted to it. You don't have to worry about retirement when you're in prison. You're already retired.
Hey, yo, you already retired. Like, you're not working.
In fact, it would make sense for a really old guy who ain't got shit to go get himself thrown in a prison so that he doesn't have to worry about, you know, medical, even though the medical they give you is the worst. But sometimes the medical out here is not good because you can't get to it because maybe you're so broke you can't get to there. You don't have a place to live. Right. You'd rather just go somewhere where you got 3 hots of cod and you roll your dice with the, you know, hopefully you don't have anything serious happen to you so medical don't kill you.
Yeah, because a lot of people that have retired, some of them will book like 5 months or whatever out of the year to just be on a cruise because they say that nursing homes are very expensive. So they would rather just go somewhere and just get out of the country and just live a cheap life or whatever. Yeah. But you mentioned in prison, some people that were actually having a hard time with the ones that didn't have nothing to do. What are some of the activities or some of the things that some people was doing that kept them, you know, busy and kept them, you know, feeling like, okay, I can stay here for a little longer. I can really take it.
I think a lot of the, I mean, they have programming where you do education in regards to, like, you know, recidivism and, you know, how to navigate, you know, banking and how to get a job, interview things, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, that comes to an end where you've already done it when you're doing a long bid. And you will eventually come to this point where you've done every program that they've had, and now you're back to board. Right. So then you have to look in the art departments, the sports and stuff like that. So they have like leatherworking, ceramics, where you paint little cups and shit, and you know, painting classes, sketching classes.
Right.
But if you don't have something else besides that, if you don't have some core, like, you know, a lot of people go to religion because religion will keep them busy.
Is it true that in prison, like, they also make people actually make our car plates?
I have never once seen car plates made in my life. And I have been to, I don't know, man, probably like 7, 8, 9 prisons when I was doing that. No, I think it was every 2 years. So 2, 4, about, I think 5 or 6.
Oh, so they will kind of like...
Yeah, they kicked me out every 2 years. Every 2 years, a warden would be like, get him the fuck out of here right now.
So you was crazy, isn't it?
Oh, I would listen. Hands down, I was a beast. I'd walk in with my pencil in my hand and just look at them, and they'd be like, fucking shit, here we go with this guy.
You about to start.
Then we don't want no problems, Gambino. All right, we got you the best bunk over there, and then you got your pills. I'm like, yeah, like, well, put your pen away, man. We don't want no problems. Because I wasn't the guy that would say, look, I'm going to sue you. I would just look at you and pull out my pad and be like, boom, next thing you know, they're getting served like a week later. Like, oh, what the fuck, man? I didn't do nothing. I'm like, yeah, you did. You took my toilet paper.
Them guards, right?
They won't fuck with me. Want to come in and take my toilet paper.
Oh, so you had a strong beef with them guards.
I beef with the guards. I beef with the warden. I beef with the medical. You don't give me my pill, you take away my toilet paper. You shake my room down and step on my family picture, man. This shit is on a pop, and you can't shoot them. Them days is over. You know, back in the day, you can get in a fist fight with a cop, and the cop would take his thing off. You can go in a room. You get a little bit of respect back and fuck him up, or he fucks you up. But you get a little bit of respect, like, I won't let you disrespect me. Now you can't do a fucking thing to him because it just adds to your time. You only got one weapon, and that's a pen, and you smoke them. So the warden would know before, you know, the warden would know me before I'd get to the next place. They'd already know, hey, this guy's a motherfucker, man. We kicked him out of here, man, but I'm letting you know he's a fucking handful. He'll fuck you up. He'll help other people fuck you up. He'll get 20 people to sue you in 1 week. I mean, just give him his shit. Right. And they still fuck up. They still find a way to fuck up. There's always that lone ranger, like, fuck him. I don't give a fuck. I'm not giving him his pills. And I'm like, chow, right into the court. 3 weeks later, like, oh, come on, man. Right. It's like, too late now. I ain't stopping. I ain't withdrawing.
Because they're violating your human rights.
They violate the shit out of you in there, man.
They try always. I mean, because they know. Now, like, with the law and everything, once you start studying it, understanding it, now you like, damn, they really took advantage of me. So because a lot of people, I know a lot of people have been taking so much advantage of, like, while they were in jail. And like you said, that's when you became a paralegal.
Yeah.
Helping out other.
Well, I became a paralegal to defend myself.
Defend yourself
and then
first.
Found myself feeling as if I need to defend everybody. And because I was always in the law department looking up, how did they fuck me this time? Right. And then I see people that need help, and I'm like, I'm gonna help this guy. And, not for nothing, when I'm helping somebody sue the warden, it's also helping me. It's helping me let the warden know that not only will I sue you, but I'll help everybody to sue you, and you'll be in court so fucking much. Even the BOP department, the down in Washington D.C. is gonna call you up like, yo, why do you got 30 lawsuits in 1 month? What the fuck are you doing? Like, Gambino, a fucking piece of shit. We didn't give him his chicken, and ever since then he's been sitting in the law department being like, "I'll do anything. Who wants to sue?" Yeah. No.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you make that happen. So also you mentioned one thing that a lot of the inmates was missing also was a woman. So if we look at that, like, did they allow some inmates to bring women in, or they were just out there messing with other dudes and so on?
So I'm in federal, so you can't have, it's not like the state. In the state, you can have, when you're married, you can have those moments where
really?
Where your wife comes once, like every 2 months, you get 3 days with your wife, and you can even knock her up and everything. The feds are totally different. I swear to God, they want to turn everybody gay. Ain't nothing wrong with being gay, but I'm just saying, I swear to God, because that rule that they don't allow that does create an issue with, number one, your family. You lose your wife. Everybody in there loses their wife. But two, you got guys in there for so long, that have wives and it's just a situation and how they cram you in. You see a lot of homosexuality spurring up where there was none before. So guys who were, on the fence about it but never pulled the trigger are all of a sudden in jail, servicing fucking joints because they think that's the only way to go.
Wow.
And it's tough because, when you're in jail and you're heterosexual and you ain't gonna go that way, you're looking at the female guards. You'd be like, yeah, maybe I can get that. And it's like, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try.
It's been a lot of emails. Like,
and there were. And I had my one-time shot. Where the one female guard was, giving me the hints and every sign that, like, come over here. I'll come over here in this closet. And like all I knew was she's gonna go because my boy was like, yo, guess who I got in the closet? So then I started thinking like, yo, how many dudes are getting her in the closet?
Right.
Like, I can't go in that closet.
But they get paid outside of that too.
Well, I wasn't gonna pay.
Right.
I mean, shit. She wasn't asking for money. She was just down for the thrill, and I was thinking, man, there's got to be a lot of dudes up in that. Man, I made it this far in life. I made it this far in the bid. I don't got no diseases. I ain't trying to get one now.
Right.
My luck, I'll knock her up, and then I'm screwed. 18 years being chased around. I said, oh man, no, this isn't. Plus, if the guards, and then another thing too, if the guards find out you're plugging one of the girls, they'll fuck you up.
Really?
They take offense to that. They feel like you went in their their backyard and like took a steak off their grill, even if they wasn't about to eat it. But that's my steak. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can get yourself fucked up like that. So there was a lot of reasons why I didn't do it, but I had my opportunity. But there's a lot of guys I've seen that,
You gotta be well disciplined when you're in jail. You gotta make sure and you gotta think about your decisions at that point. Like, if I make this decision, like you already said, a lot of these dudes that came from different states, I don't even know them, maybe have ran through this person. So what if I go to sleeping with them and so on, and then something happens to me? So
there was a lot of stuff. You just have to learn to go without. And there's plenty of guys. The majority of the population in prison is not swinging that way. That's why a lot of them are getting in fights. They got all this built up tension. People use different things to get over it. Me, I was like using, being in the legal department all day and getting off on, smoking them with paper, and then I'd pound 5 donuts and fall back in a sugar coma and be like, I'm good. I don't need no bitches, And that was me. That was my vice, But some guys don't. But those are the same guys too that, they start getting into drugs. There's a bunch of things that'll get you killed in prison.
You gotta be smart.
No, and this is for real. Gays, gangs, drugs and gambling. And it's not being gay. You could be gay in prison all you want. As soon as you start having relations with somebody, dude could be freaking out that you're going to tell somebody. He thinks you're going to tell on him because he's in the closet. He's going to kill you for that. He gets possessive and sees another guy hitting on you, and you like, you know, whatever, however that went down. Next thing you know, you're getting stabbed up because he feels like you disrespected him.
Right.
You know?
Oh, wow.
And of course, the gangs, we know how that works. And of course, we know how drugs work, and we know how gambling works. But the gays is kind of a special situation because you don't realize, like, you know.
Because when they get out of jail, and the words like goes out of jail, they know they've been doing that. Because a lot of people are scared of that. Because there's a lot of, I've watched a couple of videos where there's been people that went to jail for a very long time, and then when they try to kind of like put that image on them, they're like, no, I've never done that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and it's a
There's
serious
plenty.
thing.
There's plenty of people that haven't. But all you got to do is talk to people that are in jail that were with them, you know. And it's usually when they're in, and they usually call that prison gay. Like, I'm only gay when I'm in prison. All right.
So when you get out.
Yeah, and then they get out, and I never did that. And the next thing you know, somebody talks to something, and God forbid they're famous. Somebody be on the phone like, yeah, I was bunking with him, man. He was banging Tito next door right in the butt. You're like, oh, shit. Now he's like, nah, that was a one-time thing. You know? I was sleeping. You know, so, you know, and that shit will follow you. And that's another thing, too. When you're traveling from prison to prison, and when you get to a prison and you bunk with somebody and they find out, you got to tell them before you go in a cell with them. If you're gay, you need to tell that man. If that man is in your cell with you, and everybody finds out that that's a gay dude in the cell with you, and he didn't tell you, they're going to think you two are gay, and they don't want a gay guy living with them, you know, checking him out when he's getting undressed, you know, looking over, peeping over him when he's taking a dump, like, oh, what's going on over there? You know? So in their mind, it's like, when the gay guys came in, they were very respectful. They came in, yo, this time gay. Oh, okay, I can't bunk with you. I understand. And they'll tell the guard, and the guards will be like, all right, I'll put him in a cell by himself and see if he can find somebody willing to live with somebody that's gay. And sometimes it's like a loner dude that ain't know nobody and he don't give a shit. Or it could be another guy that, hey, you gay? All right, I'm moving with you. But, you know, you can get in trouble for having a gay guy in your cell if it found out that he's gay, and he can get in trouble for not telling you. So they come out and tell you because they don't want to get fucked up.
Right.
They'll tell you straight up, yo, listen. They'll come right because the cop will try to put you in the cell, and they usually tell them, listen, I'm a homosexual, and the cop will go, well, all right, let's get you your own cell, because they know as soon as you go in, you're gonna be like, I just want to let you know I'm homosexual, and the dude's gonna be like, nah, man, nothing personal. I can't have you. I understand. And if you don't tell the guard, and if the guard says no, you going in there, then you as the gay guy are gonna be like, put me in the fucking shoe. Right. And if that don't work, flip a table. Can I go to the shoe now? Now you're going to the shoe. All right, good. Because you're trying to get me fucked up with these dudes. You know?
Right. Wow. So it's man, that's crazy. And so like, and also I wanted to ask you, you know, when a lot of people are in jail and so on, nowadays it's a lot of people in jail that have so much communication with the people outside of jail. You know, they have iPhones and so on. Like, how did they manage to actually get a lot of those things inside of that place?
Well, first of all, once we understand our government is absolutely corrupt, then we can understand that the majority of the cell phones in most facilities all come in from the guards. They bring the drugs. They bring, you know. Listen, if you can get a cell phone in there, why wouldn't you be able to get a gun?
That's true.
Because a guard's not going to hand you a gun. He's holding you hostage. He's going to hand you something you can make money off of that you can't hurt him with. He hands you drugs, you just hurt yourself. He hands you a phone, you just call your friends and you do the phone. You know, he hands you a gun, well, or a knife. I mean, that's not going to be in his best interest. So the guards bring in the stuff.
Right.
Unless you're at Fort Dix. Fort Dix, what's up? Love them drones, man. You bring up to a pound of material in there. So, you know.
So like a drone that just comes, drops something.
Yeah, there were so many at one point that two of them crashed into each other trying to park on the roof. And the warden came down and started screaming at everybody. He's like, "You out of your fucking mind? You got so many drones that crashing. You having a fucking car fucking accident above by you motherfuckers. I'll shut this place down. No commissary for 5 months."
So the Lawrence, the person that owns
the warden is the warden is like the head of the facility.
Okay.
He runs the facility. So the warden will come down and he shit on everybody for the crash. But Fort Dix was probably like the loosest place I was ever at, and it was a low. It was low category for danger, versus like I was in mediums, and then I did real well on a medium, so they sent me to a low.
Right. So let me just check on the camera real quick.
And while you're doing the camera check, I'm gonna give the eyebrows. Oh yeah. Yo, cookie break.
I'll ask you one last question, then we'll go to part two. So the last question. All right. So actually, I'm back. Just technical difficulties. You always got to check, make sure everything is running smoothly. But yeah, I wanted to ask you last question. I know we mentioned about sexuality and everything in jail, and today a lot of things have changed. I watch a lot of news where a lot of women who are inmates, they're complaining that they don't want to live with men who identify themselves as women in jails nowadays. How do you feel about that? Like, do you think when you was in jail that would have been like a huge problem? Having women who identify themselves as men living in the men's facilities, and how do you think that would have went?
I can't even imagine. I know that the transvestites, when they hit the yard, the guys that were on the fence, that were kind of on the low with their stuff, came right out and was like, damn, and I can't imagine if they had a fully, what's the one where they cut off the?
I don't even know.
All right.
Transgender?
Well, I think transgender. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because like the
post-op.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, listen, one of them walks in with even a aftermarket vagina. You know what I mean? Like an aftermarket, cut the thing off and boop, put the listen, there's going to be dudes fighting over who that thing is going to be, who that girl is going to be. I don't know if they call it a girl, but at that point, if it's a woman, at that point, officially a woman, good luck trying to walk that yard. Wow. There's going to be dudes on you. They're going to have to find a special place for you to go.
So basically, they're in danger at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You put a vagina on the yard with 1,000 horny guys, and some of them are rapists. I mean, wow. I can't imagine. Maybe I can't even, if a transgender is post-op and they got a vagina, and then they're officially a woman and they put them in a female facility at that point, I could see them being concerned about it because, it's actually, I don't even know if they can overpower them. Yeah, I have no fucking idea. I know one thing, though. Don't put that pussy on the yard. It's just going to pop off. Dudes are going to get weird. There's guys in there that have done 30 years and haven't seen one.
All right.
That's going to be a very popular inmate. Waking up every day like, hey, I brought you some ramen noodles. I already got 1,000 of them. I just brought you 10 more just in case.